a little bit more in your body come Wednesday. Just feel it, don't absorb, but you might feel a little how you feeling?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm feeling a little off.
It's about a little how you feeling.
Yeah, it's whenever the moon is in our sun sign, we're gonna feel a little bit more touchy in a sense of our own sense on the inside. So we just take it slow. So like it's in Pisces right now, so you're gonna be feeling this, but as soon as it goes into Aries, I'm gonna be feeling that. And it's just a good time to go inward and to kind of like not push ourselves too far. I'm not saying be lazy, but like if we can rest, rest.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's just a little astrology for the class.
Can't go wrong with astrology.
No, never.
So who's ready to watch me endorse a check?
Oh, I am because I did lots of moves for that today.
Yep.
Yeah, same here.
Love it.
So we're gonna jump right into it. And again, you guys don't have to do anything special. You don't have to be a certain type of citizen. You don't have to qualify for anything. Like this is just a way to pay bills that the government created. So I'm not reinventing anything here, guys. We just never were taught this because companies double dip. So I'm going to explain to you kind of how it works and why they do it, right? So from the beginning to the end, right? I know I've sort of already gone through it a little bit briefly, but you guys should start doing this, right? So when it comes to bills, you're going to run into the public and the private side, right? And the public side doesn't know anything about this. If you go to, a regular shop or a bank or someone who works in one of these companies, they have no clue what this is. I mean, think about it, guys. I'm teaching you this now, and I had just recently learned this, but we didn't know anything about this. So it's safe to say that they're all on the same boat, every single one of them. So it's our goal to actually know where to send this stuff, how to send it, and what to do when they don't actually take it in, right? Because nothing can happen to you guys by doing this. I'm just going to be fully transparent with you. So if you go and endorse a bill, send it, most they're going to tell you is, what is this? Or what am I supposed to do with this? They don't know what to do. You have to explain to them what to do with it. And I show you guys how. But for the most part, that's the only trouble you have, right? They can't backlash you for anything because technically you're doing it by law. You haven't broken any rules. They're the ones who are ignorant to the fact that that's how you're supposed to do it, and it's an actual accepted form of payment. So as we go into like debt, and I know I mentioned this before, but this all really stems back from a number of things, right? There's the Bill Exchange Act that basically it came out and it clarified how bills and currency is meant to be exchanged. Then you also have, back in 1933, what they ended up doing was instead of using traditional gold and money to pay down debts because there was so much of it, they did away with it. So now you can't pay down a debt. Like if you go to a bank and you try to pay down a debt with gold and silver, they won't accept it. They only take notes, they don't take bonds, only take checks. That's the only way to pay back debt and discharge a debt, guys. It's crazy, but that's the truth. So they did this back in 1933 where they completely shifted how debt was managed. So they basically, because everyone was they didn't know how to solve the debt problem, they did away with gold and silver. Then they started creating notes, bonds, and checks. And then they figured out that they still needed a way to offset the debt. So, like for example, let's say I lend let's say I lend Brian some money. I lend Brian money, and now I am owed money. Okay. So I'm the bank, I'm owed money. Let's say Brian can't pay it. So what ends up happening is now there's still that debt. Like, how is it going to be balanced out? There's still a debt. So they created a way for people to discharge debt, but you have to go through a process, meaning it'll wipe it out. So the debt is null and void. But that's another process a lot of people don't are not aware of. So basically, when they transitioned from gold and silver and they went into the notes, the bonds, checks, etc., they had to create a secondary way, right, to offset any debt that was created because they were no longer taking gold and silver. Does that all make sense so far? Like, this is where all this stems from, guys. This is a little bit of like the back end of it.
Yes.
United States of America is backed by good faith and credit. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by fiat money. It's backed by good faith and credit.
So it started off with gold and silver, and they got into debt with that.
Exactly. So it started with gold and silver. Gold and silver was the original form of tender or the original form of payment. And people used to go around with gold coins and silver coins, right? That was back way back when, right? That's why they had, the gold rush, etc. But when everyone was in so much debt, they couldn't use gold and silver to get rid of all of that debt, right? It just wasn't enough. And two, they had to think of a different way to go around it. So that's where they created that system. And
That
that's
makes sense.
that's just a little bit of like the back end history of how it all kind of stemmed, right? And this has been happening for a while, guys. This was back in 1933. So people have been discharging debts and they understand how the currency works in the United States of America ever since 1933 because these people have the right information. They're discharging student loans, they're discharging all types of things, right? And I'm actually on the verge of that. I'm working on discharging my student loans, right? But that's this paperwork that I've been filling out for it. But first things first, today I'm going to teach you guys the simplest, most effective way to start alleviating debts. But I want to teach you how to take your power back. It's just like credit repair, guys. You can't expect to send a dispute letter out and then they clean up your credit the first round. You got to go after it a few times. You got to go a few rounds. You got to keep going after them. The same thing with this process, right? If they don't get it the first time, we have to get them to get it the second time, right? Because ultimately, this is the next step to financial freedom, right? You're alleviating your bills. You just need to learn how to leverage how they created the system for us. Because the system was created legally by the US government so that we don't have to pay bills. So, like I explained to you guys before, that the traditional form of money, gold, silver, and paper currency that people use for exchange of goods and services, it does not include notes, bonds, and debt evidence. I'm gonna read that again, guys. Money does not include, that's what it says, money, right, does not include notes, bonds, and debts of evidences. Okay. Guys, if it doesn't include notes, what does it say on the top of this dollar bill?
Yeah, because that caught me off guard. I'm like, but money is notes. So they're lying to us.
So this is not money.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, it's not. Well,
It's a note. It
yeah.
says it on the paper.
wow.
You see what I'm saying? So we're working for notes. We're not working for money. Money is gold and silver,
Right.
right? So with that being said, we're looking at a clear definition of money. This is the true definition of money, guys. right? So the Federal Reserve note, if you look at the dollar bill, you'll see the Federal Reserve is a note, which is short for a promissory note, which is a type of negotiable instrument. Okay. So when you hear that word negotiable instrument, I want you to keep that in the back of your mind because that note that you're using is not money, it is a negotiable instrument. That's why banks accept it when you're paying down credit card bills, when you're paying down debt. That's why they don't take gold and silver, they take promissory notes because they're a negotiable instrument. So if that's a negotiable instrument and they'll take it in as a form of payment for debt, this is where we will lead into endorsing those checks that they send because those are also considered negotiable instruments. So back to what I was telling you guys, the Bill of Exchange Act, the one that came out, right? 1933. This Bill of Exchange Act, okay, is what allows us to leverage negotiable instruments to pay down debt, discharge debt. Now, when you get a bill, it's not just asking for a payment. It's also giving you a way to settle a debt by turning your bill into a check. Okay? Because it's a negotiable instrument. How does it work? So you can learn how to endorse and sign these bills by turning them into a form of payment similar to writing a check. And by doing this, you're fulfilling your promise. So by definition, a payment, a payment isn't paying money. It's technically just fulfilling a promise. When you perform an act towards a debt or you perform the action of fulfilling a promise, you're technically making a payment. That's the law definition of payment, right? Because to us, a lot of these words mean other things. And this is where I'm gonna spin your minds a little bit because we think payment means another thing, and it really doesn't. It means that legally, payment means fulfilling a promise or completing an agreement. So when you guys endorse that check, you are technically fulfilling a promise using it because you are turning it into a check. It's already a positive check, and you're sending it back into for the company to redeem it because the company will redeem it once it's endorsed the correct way. So in some cases, even making a partial payment can also settle part of the debt as seen in this court case. So guys, this is a real life court case. Now, if you guys are ever wondering, right, these court cases were won, okay? And the reason why it's really important to read through court cases that were won is if you ever had an issue, just reference the court case because it was already proven in court to be a fact. You don't have to know anything, just review the court case. And in this particular court case, I won't read the whole thing. The argument was in regards to a payment, right? The meaning of a payment and how it works. So you'll notice in a lot of these slides that I also add some court cases in some places because these are really good reference points. And you read through them, it just breaks down what the court case was about, what was involved, how it was overturned, what did they discuss, etc. And it will teach you a lot about what's right and wrong. Because if you end up going to court for it, you're gonna win because it was already won. So the first thing you guys need to do, you're probably wondering, all right, so now I can write my bills and turn them into checks. You gotta opt out of paperless billing, guys. I know it's a ton of mail. It's annoying. For me, I'm thinking about it because I'm all in Mexico. And I'm getting a ton of mail right now. And I'm just like, all right, perfect. So I gotta figure a way around it. But right now, the only way you can do it is you handwrite it. Everything's handwritten. That's why they're so eager to opt you guys in to paperless because they're basically giving you an incentive to not know about this. Okay.
I have a question.
Yep.
Can can I do this with a medical bill? or
Yeah,
like
I'll show
a
you exactly
doctor?
which type of bills.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So some of you probably wonder what an endorsement is. I'm going to break that down for you because it's important that you do understand that, guys. An endorsement versus a signature, because we're talking about something completely different. So a signature, guys, simplified, it simply authenticates you, right? This is a way for you to authenticate that it's you. It's your signature. It's your sign of nature. Signature, right? You're the only one that got that signature. It's the only thing you created because you didn't create your name. You didn't create your birthday. You didn't create anything but signature, guys. That's why it's authenticating you. It authenticates you. Okay. And that's all a signature really does. It just says that I was the one to sign this document and so forth. And that's just simplify that. So you deal with that when you're having to sign contracts or write a check out to someone. Okay. Now, the difference between that and an endorsement is basically a way of transferring rights or ownership of another instrument to another party. So they're very different. So you could have just signed that and sent it over, but you didn't actually transfer ownership because you have to fill it out a certain way. Okay. Now, what does it involve, right? So an endorsement is the act of a payee, right? And a drawee or holder signing the back of a negotiable instrument, such as a check or a promissory note, thereby transferring the rights of ownership. So that's why when it comes to the Federal Reserve note, you transfer in the ownership when you just give it to someone, right? But that's already a different type of negotiable instrument. But when you actually take the bill that you're going to be receiving and then you fill it out with an endorsement and a signature, you got to do both, right? You got to authenticate it and endorse it because there's a difference between both. You're turning it into a negotiable instrument. That way, when they receive it, they can redeem it at the treasury. At this point, guys, they don't need you for anything. They may not know what to do with it in the public side. They're going to be looking at you like you're crazy and like, what is this? Well, in reality, I'm showing you guys these are the laws that are going to support the fact that this is 100% something that you can do.
Can you say that one more time, please? I'm sorry.
So, endorsing, right, is something that a lot of people in the public side are not familiar with. So, what I mean by public is when you call a customer service rep and you ask them about, hey, you guys take negotiable instruments, they're gonna be like, what? But when you say, hey, can I pay in dollars? They're gonna be like, sure, right? Like that's what they only understand one language. So if you're running into people who don't understand, I'm gonna walk you guys through the process that I've been studying and I've been learning from. So the people I've been learning from, I've done this and it works, right? They've applied it, it works. And they have verifiable proof, and I'll show you some of it, okay? But these people already done it. So this isn't something brand new. This isn't something that we're like, oh, we're just gonna give it a shot. No, these people have done it. It worked. They walked us through the exact same process and like just do the same thing, and that's it. And then if you have issues, which some of them have, they simply just need to get on the phone with the right person that knows what to do with it. And then you also have to know what to tell them, right? Because technically, you're basically teaching them something they don't know. So to simplify it, right? You've got your signature and your endorsement. You need both on the actual bill in order to actually turn it into a negotiable instrument, right? The negotiable instrument is exactly what you guys are aiming to turn it into. So I'm going to show you an example of all the bills you guys probably see, okay? So how many of you guys have some student loans?
Me.
right? I know I do,
Me.
right? So this is an example of a student loan bill. Okay. Now, this is technically at the top here, it's called a bond, right at the top. It's called a bond. Now, here is where you have to basically tell them that you accept this form of a check, right? Because usually it comes with a positive number. Then on the bottom, usually comes with a perforated line, is the actual coupon, which is the part of the check. So I'm gonna show you a better example. T-Mobile's bill is actually a fairly good one for me to show you guys because here again, another example. The top is the bond and the bottom is the coupon, right? Now you notice that has another perforated line. That's where they want you to cut it out and it turns into a check, guys. Now, what do you guys notice about this number here? Is it a positive or a negative number?
It's a positive.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're given a bill with a positive number, how is it that you owe that money if it's positive? Right? Because think about it in hindsight. If I was to ask you to write me a check for $150, how would you write it? With a positive or a negative number?
A
Positive.
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 There's no difference, right? So if it's a positive number, then it means this money is given to us. This
Wow.
money is available to us. There's another example of a bill. Is a positive or negative number?
Positive.
It's all
Positive.
positive, guys. It's all
Positive
money.
again.
It's money. Guys, these numbers here are technically routing numbers. Guys, these are checks. Look at the bottom over here. They're legitimate checks. You fill it out, it looks just like a check, right? So I'm going to show you exactly what I mean, right?
That line blew my mind though, because that really makes sense. You could just cut it out and make it to a check.
It's true, you know, because they just don't teach you how to handle it, guys. So let me share my screen because I messed it up here. All right. So let me pull a couple examples. I'm gonna pull a bunch of examples, guys, okay? Oh, that one's hard to read. Let me get a better one. All right. So this is an example. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
All right. This is an example of an endorsed bill. So you notice here it says payment coupon, right? So at the top, you notice he took the number and he put 4,830 on here. He added that. Then he put pay to bearer, right? So the bearer is the person receiving it. So payable to the bearer is the person receiving it. The one that's going to be getting that check, it's going to be payable to them. So once it's in their hand, it's already a negotiable instrument. They can redeem it. So what they're doing now, you guys are probably wondering, well, what are they doing with these things now? They're double dipping, guys. So you're paying them. So let's say this guy didn't fill it out and send it. This guy is paying the 4,800 cash, and then they're gonna go and redeem this. So they're gonna get paid twice. Because this is a check, guys. Because if you don't fill it out, they're gonna fill it out. So you might as well start filling them out. Because that's exactly what's happening. They're double dipping everything. Now, on the bottom here, you'll notice it says by accommodation and then agent, right? So you'll sign here your signature, then agent. And then at the bottom, it says without recourse. So without recourse means, guys, they can't take any legal action against you. That's how you clear that up. They can't take any legal action, and then they put the law that basically supports that. All of these laws that they've stated on the bottom are what allows us to do this. So if they have questions, just reference the law. It'll clear things up. So that's one example. I'm going to show you another example. So this guy here drew this up, and he did something very similar. Now, again, every statement will look a little bit different, guys, but in this case, just pay attention to the blue because he filled out the blue. So you notice he put accepted for value, right? Because what is this? A positive number, right? So he
Yep.
accepted the fact that he received that amount of money, right? And then he put first, middle, last name. Now you notice how this name was written out. They put the hyphen in the middle and then the two dots on before the last name because at the end of the day, it doesn't confuse you with your all capital name, right? Because you're going to be doing it on behalf of your company name. You're representing this check and you're the one mailing it out because a company can't mail a check. It needs to be a person.
What does accepted for value means again?
So what it means is I accept the value you have given me. So you're basically confirming that you're giving me value, giving me money, right? And I'm gonna accept it under these conditions, right? I'm gonna accept it. So you've accepted that amount that they've given you here, this positive amount of $486.23, and they're now paying it to the order of this company. Because what do you do when you write a check, guys? You pay it to the order of, right? You pay to the order of, right? Who are we paying it to? Then it's a positive number. Guys, I need you to understand that positive number thing. If that doesn't click, I'm telling you, it's legitimately money because if you can show me when you've ever received a check with a negative number that you didn't owe on, then I'll be surprised. And then think about how many times you've opened up your bank account and you have a positive balance in there. It's a positive number. But if you have overdrafted in your bank account, it's a negative number, means you owe money. So just that in theory is already going to tell you guys this is money that you guys are receiving. You just have to know what to do with it.
And it's sad because it's literally self-explanatory. Like the check is just we're overthinking it.
Yeah, and we don't realize that we're receiving money. Like we're not slowing down and be like, yo, this is actually money here. Because it's a positive number. And until I slowed down to actually pay attention to it, I didn't realize what we're really getting into. Right? But this gentleman filled out everything in the blue as part of what he added. So, at the beginning, he accepted this for the value, which goes on the bond, right? Remember, I explained to you about the bond. It goes right here at the top, right? You can put it right here, accepted for value, or right next to the amount. But that accepted for value goes on the bond. So if you guys are confused, don't worry. I'm gonna fill one out to show you. Okay? So don't worry about it. I'm gonna fill one out so you guys can see the live example. It's actually very easy because what you will start doing is you will just do the same exact thing I'm telling you, and you don't have to recreate anything. You just need to endorse things the right way, and that's it. And you'll notice every single example I'm going to show you, they're all very similar. The only difference is where they may have put the stuff because of the way the check has been made, right? So sometimes they have more writing in the center and you have to squeeze it in on the bottom. It doesn't really matter where it goes as long as all of the required parts are there, right? So you're going to pay to the order of this company, right? On behalf of this company, right? The company is your all capital name. And then you are going to state that you're the one who's sending this out without recourse as the agent. Because always remember, that your all capital name is a government company. It's not an actual live person. So anytime you go to court for it, anytime you're choosing to show up for a ticket, you're doing it on behalf of a company. That's why they always ask you, do you have your ID? Because they want to know if you identify as the company. And for some of you guys, like if you ever pay attention to someone who doesn't offer up their ID, the cops can't do anything. They can never do anything until they're certain that that person is operating as a corporation. Those cops only have jurisdiction on companies. They're policy holders with guns. That's all a police officer is. They just enforce policies and they use words that you don't understand, and that's it. And they get you to basically back yourself into a corner. That's what they do. That's what they're trained to do. Because everything is for money. So he endorsed this bill right here on the bottom. He stated the entire amount just like you would on a check, right? Like I said, just like a check, guys. Just like a check. Guys, it's a check, right? It's going to sign it, right? Who it's for, who it's from, right? You notice here, he put first, middle, last without recourse. Then who it's paid to the order of. Guys, just like a check, there's a positive amount in there for the payment. It's paid to the order of. When you actually see this and you compare it to a check, it's actually quite simple. I just think it'll make more sense for a lot of you once you actually do it. Okay. Here's another example. This is the favorite one. So this guy here, his was pretty simple. He had a AA Advantage American Airlines card, right? He had a $17,000 balance and he wrote out the amount that was due. He signed it by accommodation and without recourse. What that means, again, is you can't be held liable. They can't take you to court for it. There's no legal action whatsoever that can happen once you've signed it and once you've accepted it. That's it. Done. Except for deposit payable to bearer. Okay. Remember, the bearer is a person receiving it. And these are the same exact things you're going to put on the bills. The same exact things. All right. So let me go to another example. All right. You guys still see my screen? Yep.
Yes, I do.
Perfect. So this is another example of if any of you have any city cards, this woman here endorsed hers. She actually got it all wiped out because it was paid in full. But she wrote the same thing. She put the laws on the bottom. She stated that, she made it clear to city that they're the trustee and that she was the beneficiary, right? And she used something a little different, like without prejudice, which you can use, but without recourse is a lot better in this case. Same thing. This is another bill. She got this wiped out as well, right? So this gentleman that I showed you guys, he had filled this out on 10/1/2023, right? Sent it out on the back. As you can see, can you guys see that clearly?
Yes.
This is the back of a check. So you're going to also endorse the back of the check. So the back of the check here basically is you can handwrite it, right? You can handwrite it or you can order a stamp on Amazon that basically that's what this guy did. He ordered a stamp from Amazon for like $10 and you could just start stamping all of your bills. But you can have it custom made to say this exact stuff. But notice how he put his name in lower caps and he put, the comma, William dash Jacob slash agent. So he's acting on behalf of the company. Remember, your all caps name isn't you guys. So the principal is where the payment is going to be going to, but the agent needs to be the one to enforce this because ultimately a company can't write its own check. A human has to do it. So it's payable to bearer without recourse. He also sent out this letter, right? He sent out this letter. This was September 14th, right? Look at how he wrote his name, guys. Pay very close attention to how he's writing everything. Now, you guys are also going to get the exact copy of this because I made the exact copies of this letter. So all you need to do is change your email. Then you need to change where it's going to, right? And I'll show you guys where to find that. Because every single bill you have tells you where to send it to paid in full. And it's not the address on the check. They tell you where to send it for payments. So that's another thing you have to pay attention to. So in this case, he wrote his name, where it was going to on the bill, and then he said, "To whom it may concern, thank you very much for sending me the statement that contains the positive deposit of securities. I deposited into this account. Please transfer the value of this bearer security to the principal to set off the account and bring it to zero. If I have missed a step that will hold my security from being properly processed, please contact me at the email." Then he signed it, right? And then notice how he placed his name again. Same
What
thing.
does the dash and the name mean again?
So it's a way for you to separate him from your actual business and company name. Because if you just write it together, then they're gonna assume that it's for the company. But this is actually you, it's the agent, and your name is gonna be different. You can do it White Jacob William, or you can do um Jacob William White. Like you can change it, but as long as it's your name and you're not spelling it and you're not writing it like you normally would on behalf of the company, then you're doing it the right way. That's why he did it in a very specific format, right? Because they're gonna assume that it's the other company name. And then this is the result he had, guys. So this happened probably it took about 30 days for everything to happen, but the last payment received was for the amount on the check, and his balance went to zero,
That's insane.
right? And all for endorsing the check, right? Because it's technically a check. And he sent this letter, he endorsed his check just like this, right? Filled it out, told him it's for payable to the bearer, the person who's holding it is receiving the amount of money in exchange, right? And that's how that works, guys. So this is legitimately how this guy ended up paying his $17,000 bill for his credit card, right? She paid her $1,000 bill off. She paid it in full, guys. She didn't pay a minimum payment. She did it all in full, right? And this is all endorsing. So I'm going to show you a live example now of how to endorse it. It's actually quite simple. Let's see. I think I did one yesterday. Yeah, let me just share this real quick.
Question, Eric.
Yep.
Can you also do that for like a car payment, like to pay in full?
Yeah, so with the car payment, it's going to be a little bit different depending on how you're receiving your monthly bills.
Okay. Thank you.
So if you're receiving a monthly bill just like you've seen in the examples, then yes, because it has to come in the form of a check. You have to be able to turn it into a check. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
But it's 100% doable if you got student loans. All right, cool. Let me share this real quick. I actually did this. I was doing this with my mom the other day so she can get rid of her solar bill. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
I highlighted everything in yellow that was added to simplify. So remind me, what did I say the top part was again?
A bond.
Bond. Perfect. Yep. So it's the bond. So when you see the bond is where you accept it. You're going to accept the bond that they gave you. They accept the value. Think about this, guys. This is a bill, right? So if this is a bill, why is it a positive number?
That's crazy.
You understand? So I'm going to show you an example. See, all right. Let's see if they got images. There you go. Minus. Negatives are minus. There is no minus and there's nothing in parentheses because technically, when you have numbers in the parentheses, right, those are technically negative numbers. I'm trying to find a good example. All negatives. Notice how a lot of these numbers are in the parentheses, guys, and they have a negative. You only owe a negative number, guys. Wait, I'm not even sharing my screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't
Right here,
see it.
just an example. You guys see it?
Yes.
That's negative numbers. This is what you owe. If your bank showed that, like your bank showed you had a negative number, that's what you owe. But that's not the case, right? The case here is this here is positive, guys. It is positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, we stated that this is the trustee, right? You notice at the top, Tesla is the trustee, okay? And then when you look at what I've added is offer accepted for value received of the amount, right? And I just put a signature there without recourse. So now we're stating like, guys, I accept this money. Thank you for sending it. Now the bond is done. That's as simple as that, guys. The bond is actually very, very simple, right? I added this stuff, guys. And it's very simple. So claim that he's a trustee, and then the offer has been accepted for the value. Then you sign it and you put without recourse. Okay. I'm just gonna just for some of you guys again remind you what without recourse means. Without recourse definition. Without recourse is a phrase meaning that one party has no legal claim against another party, guys. Can't take you to court for it. Right? So without recourse is a formula used to disclaim responsibility for future non-payment, especially of a negotiable financial instrument. You understand that, guys? Especially of a negotiable financial instrument.
Wow.
Okay. Now I'm just giving you guys law definitions here. It says it. That's what without recourse means. It's reminding them, guys, you can't claim that I still owe you the money. I've given you a negotiable instrument. So if we have
That
to,
is important to put down too, though.
huh?
It is important to like make sure you write that too.
Absolutely. That's why you have to endorse it the right way. That's what I'm showing you guys, right? Now, these laws, the UCC laws, are not mandatory, but I've seen everyone has been listing them, right? Because again, technically, these laws are why we can do this. It says why we can do it in all of these laws and explains every step and how it all works. That's what that is. It's just a reference. And then here I have the name and I placed comma beneficiary right next to it, right? So you guys are probably wondering, what is the beneficiary? Guys, as a beneficiary, right, you are the one who has been granted a trust through your government name. So your company name has a trust because when they created it, they also created an account that had money in it to pay all your bills. That's where they're getting all this money from. It's coming from that trust. Now you just have to go ahead and claim it. But if you don't know how to claim it and you're not actually following through with the proper process, then these bills end up getting claimed by these companies. And that's how they double dip. So it's an individual named in a will, revocable trust, or irrevocable trust. So in this case, there was a trust, like I said, created for you guys, created for all of us. And we're just the ones acting on behalf to make sure those bills are paid and that we're not taking on that responsibility. Right?
So, in the simplest way, you're saying like the trust, we're like accepting it, like I don't know how to say it.
Yeah. So what we're doing is the picture it like this. Imagine you had a relative and the relative passed away, but the relative has all these bills, right? But they left you a bank account to pay all those bills. But you're busy paying them right now yourself instead of actually using
Oh, okay, I get it.
instead of using the right paperwork to get those bills paid for your relative, you're paying the bills yourself.
Right. Okay, thank
So now by endorsing them, we're now turning this stuff into legitimate forms of payment that would hand back to these companies so that they can go to the treasury or the trust to pay the bills with because they'll be cashing this. As soon as they cash this, they get the money and then they pay the bill. They have nothing to do with you. You've done your part. This is doing your part, guys. That's it. Now, as you can see, the reason I highlighted everything in yellow so you can see what I really added. And it wasn't much, guys, right? Have any you guys are noticing this is not like super crazy, right?
you. No, it's not.
You simply turning it into a check. You're gonna basically say that it's accepted for deposit and payable to the bearer. The bearer is the person receiving it. And that you're gonna write out the dollar amount right here, right? And then you're gonna type it out and you spell it out. And then by accommodation, sign it, and then without recourse. And that's it. You've endorsed it. Now, on the back of it, you're just simply going to do this example here on the back of it, right? Remember, you can handwrite it, but this is how it will look. Exactly like this. Guys, don't change anything. You know, if you got to do your last name, comma, right, middle name, whatever it is, lowercase, use the comma and the dash. Do the same exact thing because remember, it worked for this guy. It's gonna work. We go back to the example. All right. Any questions so far? So you notice the bottom here is some check numbers. This is the barcode. Now, on the back of your statement, guys, on the back, you guys are probably wondering, well, now that I've filled out the check, I've endorsed it, right? I include the trustee, I accepted it, I signed it without recourse, and then I stated all the laws that allow me to do this. I made it clear that I was a beneficiary. I simply accepted it for the deposit and it's payable to whoever is receiving it. The bearer is a person receiving it. And I stated the amount. I signed it again by accommodation, signature without recourse. And that's it. Now you notice here it says remit payment to Solar House IV LLC. Although it says that, you have to pay attention to what the back of the bill says, right? Let's see. Because the back of the bill, guys, also gives you an address. I don't know if any of you guys trying to think of.
Can I show you mine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, let me show you really quick. Let me turn around my camera. So, like, this is the example that I was in the process of finishing it. This is the back of it. It's a Verizon bill, and
Yeah, and where does it say to
this,
send it?
uh, oh,
There it is. Verizon attention.
yeah.
It tells you where to send it. But is that different from the address it shows on the front?
Um, I just says PO box. Let me see. Let me see. PO box 1506, PO box. Yeah, it does. Well, slightly different. Like this is what it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, it's slightly different, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's where they get you guys. Now, can you do me a favor and just read that sentence on the top and what it says exactly?
Okay, it says questions about paying, address change your address. Okay, important information. Many billing questions can be resolved easily online or with my Verizon app. All written communication related to billing disputes and checks tendered as payment in full to a billing dispute must be sent to this bill. Okay.
They tell you exactly where to send it. If you send it to the address on the front, guys, it's not going to the right place. Does that all make
Wow.
sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
So you have to read the back of that check. You have to read the back of that document because ultimately it tells you where to send it. It tells you where you need to send it. I think I have another example here. No, that's not it. I'm gonna go back to this letter. So remember, guys, this letter here in particular is the most important part because not only are you also elaborating briefly on what it is you're doing, but it explains to them that it is a security. Like there's a value on that card and they have to accept it, right? There's a value on the bill you're sending. So following this call, guys, I'm gonna share with each of you guys this document here. Where the heck is? All right, there we go. I'm gonna share with you guys this document here. You simply just have to fill out the top part, right? You notice how I kept it very specific. Fill out where they ask you to send it on the back. They tell you where to send those payments, guys, on all your bills. But you have to pay attention. This is where they trick all of us, right? Because
I'm so glad you showed no, but I'm so glad you told me this because I didn't know because I was finishing writing my letter
right.
too.
So if you flip it, you ever flip the back, you read everything, read your contracts, because they don't lie to you guys. They just don't tell you everything. They're not going to go out of their way to help you. So you have to actually go through the bill. It tells you what to do. Now, in this particular case, right? This letter is very straightforward. It's simple. You simply put your email where they want you to send it, fill out the top, sign the bottom. Okay. And that's it. It's simple. and now you've endorsed a check, right? So you'll have your full check looking just like this, right? And then you'll send your check with this letter, right? You'll attach the both of them together. And then just remember on the back of that check, you're going to endorse it, right? You're going to endorse it just like this guy did right here. So that's 3 steps you're taking, right? Those 3 steps. Now, what I'll do is I'll see if I can maybe simplify it all so that when you guys are going through the process, like step 1, 2, 3, you simply follow it. But so far, guys, it's just as simple as this. Just write the same stuff. Don't have to change anything. Don't have to get fancy. Like there's no other complicating way to do this. You simply just need this specific and exact information on it to endorse it. Because now you're making it known that you guys have given me money. Now I'm endorsing it for you to cash it so you can pay this bill. And I'm not paying it because you gave me the money for it. Is that all making sense so far?
Yes.
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 So that being said, these guys are the laws, right? These are the laws that are on the check, right? One is payable to bearer. So a financial instrument like a check or a note is payable to bearer, and it can be paid to anyone who holds it. This happens when it says payable to bearer and does not specify a payee. So if you say payable to Bank of America, then you just only paid it out to Bank of America. But the bearer is basically stating that anyone who possesses this can cash it, right? It's made out to cash, meaning no specific person is identified. So when you're paying it out to bearer, it's for them to cash it, guys. Like the simplest term is they're basically gonna redeem it and then cash it. And that's what they're doing right now. Because you're not doing this, right? They're doing it again after you pay them. So they're double dipping. Because it's a check. Guys, anytime you don't redeem those checks, they're redeeming it. Right? Payable to order if the instrument names a specific person or includes to the order of it can be paid to that person or someone they endorse it to. Guys, this is how it turns into a check. This is straight from the laws, guys. Like these are United States Code laws or Uniform Commercial Code laws, the UCCs, right? Payable to bearer. This law right here explains it. I just took it from this and I simplified it for you guys. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like you're trying to decipher legalese. Like every single word like leads to more information. You see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Like it just keeps going and going and going and have to decipher all of this stuff. Instrument, like what does that mean? Okay, it's all these different things. Then have to click on a promise to figure out what that means. So I simplified it for you guys so that here it makes sense. And then when you guys are like dealing with the public and you're talking to them, you can explain stuff like this. You could say, well, it's a check. I turned it into a check. I made it payable to you guys. It's payable to the bearer. You guys have possession of it now. So claims to an instrument. So if someone has possession of an instrument like a check, but isn't a holder in due course, that person who takes it under protections, they could be subject to someone else's claim over the instrument. For example, someone might demand the return of the check if they have the legal right to it. But in this case, you're paying it to bearer. And the bearer now has it under their protection. The bearer is the one who now takes it and goes to redeem it because technically, if they don't redeem it, they don't get that money and the bill never gets paid. Yep. They're taking our money, Selena. They're taking it happily, happily taking it, right? So tender of payment. Guys, you got to think about this. Even though this is it's like I'm simplifying it and I make it sound easy, it is easy, but we have to do it. Like we all have to do it. Because if we don't do it, they're gonna do it. And two, we'll keep paying bills, right? Just like credit repair. We have to enforce credit repair. You gotta understand that. We have to enforce it. Even though they're doing all the wrong things, we still have to enforce it. So even though we're right, we still have to enforce it. It's just like anything else, right? Think about that. What are these collection companies doing to you guys when you don't pay them? They're enforcing it and they're trying to redeem the money. So they're going to try to collect on you. So if they're going to enforce it and they're going to take the time and energy to enforce it, but we're not, who really cares? They're the ones who want the money. They're the ones who are going to pursue it. But we have to be the ones to enforce this. Like I remind you guys, you have nothing to lose here, but everything to gain. Let's say you even do two of your bills go through the first time, the first go around. You just saved on two of your bills. Now you have a company, accepts those with no issues, and you don't have to argue with anybody. Right? So this is another law, tender of payment, payment of an instrument, negotiable instruments. These are the laws that I listed for you guys right here. I just simplified it right here. I just simplified it. So I'm going to break it down. So the tender of payment, offer a payment. If someone offers the money they owe, which is the tender of payment, and the creditor refuses, the debtor may be freed from obligations like paying further interest. I need you guys to understand that. That's a law, guys. It says that. If they refuse it, they can't take legal action against you. I need you to understand that. They can't claim that you didn't pay because you did pay. You made the payment. You fulfilled the obligation, guys. You did your part. This is the law, tender of payment. It's an obligation to pay an instrument. It's made to a person entitled to enforce the instrument. So you paid to the bearer. It's payable to the bearer. They're the ones that get entitled to enforce the instrument. We paid it out, right? Remember what the instrument is. Instrument is a check, is a form of instrument, right? These are straight definitions from the law, guys. The impact of a refusal. When a payment is refused, endorsers, those who guaranteed the payment, or others with the responsibility for the debt might be discharged to the extent of the amount offered. So what this means, guys, is once you've already fulfilled that promise, you made the payment, you've already fulfilled your promise, you fulfilled your duties. They can't come after you that you owe money when in reality you've made the payment. But we have to be able to enforce it, right? I'm going to teach you guys how to enforce it, what to say. You don't have to really argue with these people. Same thing with credit repair. I don't argue with a lot. I just ask questions. Just ask questions. Like the police officers, they'll always ask you questions because they're trying to back you into a corner. But if I was to show up and start stating all of these laws, they don't know anything. You just have to ask questions. So payment of an instrument. Payment discharges obligation. That's what the law says, guys. Remember, I'm just the messenger. The payment discharges the obligation. So you have a payment that's due, and they want to collect money from you, and you create a negotiable instrument, which is by law a check. that's payable to the bearer and they refuse it, that's on them. The obligation is generally discharged. Once an instrument is paid, guys, don't you remember that? Once an instrument is paid, the instrument by law definition is what any of these. It's check, cashier's check, teller's check, traveler's check, certificate of deposit. That is what an instrument is, or a note, right? It's a promise to pay, guys. These are all instruments by law. They're all negotiable instruments, guys. Notification of transfer. So if a note is transferred to a new person, the original debtor must be notified, including the name and address of the new payee for future payments to go to the right party. Negotiable instruments, right? What is a negotiable instrument? It's a promise or order to pay a specific amount of money, and it must be payable to a specific person or bearer on demand or at a set time. And it must not include any extra conditions beyond payment. That's it. A check is a type of negotiable instrument drawn on a bank and a payable demand. And you also have certificate of deposits.
Sorry to ask you again, but is this on the modules, like this whole thing?
No, I haven't released this campus yet. You guys want me to release this?
Yeah.
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 I haven't released this campus yet. I've been busy building it and like simplifying it. But
You do you, but
for
we're
you
on
guys,
board.
I'll do it because I'm getting to the point where I'm studying the litigation process, right? Like
Okay.
what to do if they're giving you issues, like how to handle it. Because ultimately, I want to email you guys with everything you need. But I can go ahead and unlock this for you guys so you can start reviewing and studying this portion. I would only recommend spending time in the check endorsement because you guys are going to be practicing it. But it's just super important to just take the power back. Like I said, for me, I told you guys yesterday, like once I learn something, I'm doing it. Like I don't care. Like I don't got nothing to lose. I'm doing it. And two,
That's where I'm at.
this tells you that you're doing everything right if you just follow the steps. And it's in the laws. It's all in the laws. It tells you what they are, what you're doing, how to do it, and what to do, and what it requires you to fulfill your actual due diligence. Once you've endorsed an instrument and you paid it, you basically fulfilled the promise, right? So if you want to settle a dispute, so if someone offers an instrument like a check as a full payment for a disputed debt and the other party cashes it, the debt is considered settled. All right, unless specific exceptions apply. So what are the exceptions? The debt won't be discharged as the creditor sent instructions on where to send the payments for disputed debts and the debtor didn't follow them. Right? So this is what I was telling you guys, send it to the right place. You got to send it to the right place. They tell you where to send it. They will tell you guys. They tell you exactly where to send it. Now, if you guys are doing this, you also want to mail your endorsed check via certified mail because you want to track it.
I grabbed a bunch of those for my job because it's
Yeah.
it's an insurance company. So I'm dealing with that all day. I can't tell you how many times I see the word endorsement on my computer screen. So every time I see that word, I'm like, oh, and I have a new meaning for it now. But every time I see that word, I'm like, all right, get to your A&E school right now.
100%.
Yeah.
So this is literally Guys, the shortest and most simplest way I can break down how you can stop paying your bills. And I've shown you the proof that legally you're allowed to do this. You can't get in trouble for this. You can't. It's not happening.
And then the laws just tells it all. Like it's a law.
Exactly. That's the whole point. It says you can do it, but we're not doing it. Right? And this is why this information, guys, the people you deal with in the public aren't going to know this information. So ultimately, right, when we're dealing with them, you always got to remember that not all of them know this stuff. You just got to talk to the right people. And over time, we're gonna slowly learn how to find some of those right people. Because not all of them work in the public. It's a lot of private stuff. That's why they ask you to send it to specific places, because those places know how to handle that stuff. If there's one place that I know when you send certain documents to, they know how to process it, is IRS. And they follow all the laws.
So you go to the IRS sometimes?
So the IRS is a good place, and I'll teach you guys this a little bit later on. But I'm gonna just give you a quick snippet, but like I've been like collecting documents on documents from the IRS. All of these forms are to learn how to discharge debt and avoid taxes. Straight from the IRS, straight from them, right? And what I'm studying is how to fill it out, how to fill out a 1099-A, what to do, what to put, like studying it, and I'm going to apply it before we start showing anyone how to do this stuff because you have to understand it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
all these forms are on the IRS. So if you guys were ever curious, like reading those forms, like if I was you guys, read your I-9 document, like from the IRS, right? What does it have? Like, what does it mean? Because your freedom is like literally just paperwork. It's crazy when you think about it, but your freedom is paperwork. How you fill it out, how you do it is what makes the big difference.
You said a while ago, we were talking about something on one of the Zoom calls, and you were saying like, um, you don't have to do something like with your taxes. Like, there's a way where we don't have to pay taxes.
Yes. So you were wondering about that. So if you guys no longer want to pay taxes working your 9 to 5,
Yeah.
you have to follow a couple of things, right? So first things first, you would have to technically revoke all of what you have right now. You'd have to revoke your driver's license, your registration. You have to revoke your voter's registration. And then once you've done that, you're basically opting out of the system. So you know how we opted out of credit bureaus? Like we opted out of them
Yeah.
being able to like send us mail and right? So now
Yeah.
we're opting out of the system that they created because with the vehicle registration, guys, once you buy a car, it's already registered. It already has a title. It already has all the fees and expenses and import fees taken care of. They just make us do it again because they're double dipping again. But then when you register your vehicle, they register it under the state. So that means that they take possession of it if you miss one or two payments. But if you don't register your vehicle, they can't take it from you.
So, dang it, I forgot what I was about to say. It'll come back to me. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Mhm.
They can't take it from you. And the reason why is because there's this thing here. I haven't even filled it out yet, but manufacturer certificate of origin. That's the actual title of your car, not the state registration. It's the certificate of origin for your vehicle. So if any of you guys have a vehicle, right, this is what you need to actually own your car. Otherwise, the state possesses it.
You got the sauce. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm telling you, this campus is different. Like this is where like it's true freedom. Like this is where you guys are gonna learn everything. Once I finish simplifying, like diving into mortgage contracts, auto loan contracts, phone contracts, and the Truth in Lending Act, all of this is tied into how they make those contracts fraudulent. So I'll be teaching you guys how
Mm.
to start reading contracts so that whenever you want to go get a car loan, you're not like you can basically fill out certain paperwork to avoid going through their process because their process is fraudulent.
Okay, so I remember what I was gonna ask you. The process of revoking out of everything, is that in the new module that you're making too as well?
Yeah, so that's not quite done yet. So what I've really finished was the endorsing the checks. The rest, I've been able to go through and just slowly add information. Like not a lot of this is finished. But because you guys want to see the information, I'm gonna make it available to you, right? Like you'll see I'm posting, some examples of phone contracts. I'm gonna be breaking them down. But this is the only part that's ready to go, the endorsing check. So that's where you should be spending most of your time. The rest I'm still building out. And then the other part I finished was how to basically turn into a national, foreign national. So technically, guys, by law, when we came into the world, when they gave us that birth certificate, we took on that persona. We took on that persona that they created because that was all government made. So technically, right now, neither of us really exist. We're taking on that persona. So in order for us to claim ourselves back, we have to recertify our birth, and this walks us through how to do it. You have to recertify. Like you have to basically go to your mother or your sister or brother. They need to witness that you were alive and that you were given birth to, and they should know your birthday, etc. And then you get a brand new birth certificate with a birth affidavit, right? So once you get your new birth affidavit, you then acquire your state citizen passport. So your state citizen passport is different from a US citizen because the US citizen is given by government and the state citizen is the free being, it's a natural human. And natural humans don't pay taxes, only companies do.
I have a quick question before we get deeper into this. When it comes to the endorsing, like when I started detox, I just stopped taking my medication, right? So I owe my psychiatrist money.
Mhm.
And yesterday when we were on the call, I clicked the opt out, but it didn't really give me anything. So I sent a message to them to send me the bill. I didn't hear anything today, so I'm going to call them tomorrow. If I
Mhm.
get that bill sent to me, can I endorse that? Because it's pretty high and I'm not paying it.
Yeah, if it's a form of a check, if it comes just like that check, you can endorse it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
As
Okay.
long as you turn it into the negotiable instrument, right? And a lot
Yeah,
of them
yeah.
come in very similar, guys. Remember that. Their student loan, there's a reason why they come like this, guys. It's not a coincidence why bills look like this.
Okay.
Most, you understand? So let's see what a medical bill example PDF.
On the online, it looks just like that. So I'm curious to see what it will come in the mail.
Bingo, hospital bill. The heck? You sign me up for it. Bingo, look at that. Hospital bill. What does that look like, guys?
Yeah.
A check. Again, positive number.
Amazing.
And then knowing this, we're really free knowing this too.
Yeah.
No, you guys need to understand that like everything given under the sun is free. The water, the plants, but they just commercialized everything. They made it legally so that they can get away with doing what they want to us, because we're taking on a certain persona. We're taking on that government entity,
Yeah, no. This is our breakup. We're breaking up.
right? So this is how we start fighting for, we got to start enforcing literally what we can do. And like, I'm showing you guys, like, you don't have to pay bills, guys. Like, we're ways, like, think about it. Even if you have to fight, let's say 2, 3 months, and then they finally start accepting them, guys, you're not paying that bill anymore.
Wow.
I need you guys to understand, like, that's the difference here. Like, we're talking about eventually you'll be working your 9 to 5 and all your money is going in your pocket.
I see myself doing that a
Right?
bit, but when I
100%. And I haven't gotten there yet, but
yeah.
eventually what I'm studying is with rent, like you technically, once you applied for where you're renting, you had to have, use your social security to do it. Their application was the credit. So the tenant technically should be paying your rent for you or your landlord because they got access to your social security. But that's a whole nother different story. It's the same thing with credit cards. They can't deny you. Another one I'm fighting, right? So a lot of this stuff is gonna come with work, but all this stuff is possible. People are doing this, and this is who I'm learning from. I'm learning from people who are actually doing it. They've already walked the path. They're not just reading it from a book, right? Because that's just not how it works. I like to just do it and implement. I learn it, I see it works, I'm gonna implement it.
I have a question really quick.
Yep,
I was looking on the module, like, in the business fundamentals, like qualifying for a house. Do you
yep.
have to have a mortgage when you buy a home? Like, because all I seen
No,
was
you're
mortgage.
technically
I don't,
not, everything's paid for. I need you to understand that. Everything is paid for. Your
because
car,
I don't, okay.
ev- everything's paid for. You just need to figure out how to enforce it. So if you apply for a house, you have to understand how to read that contract, right? Which we'll be teaching in the future. How to read that contract, what to know. The Truth in Lending Act is what was put in place, just like the Bill of Exchange Act to be able to endorse checks. The Truth in Lending Act basically holds these companies accountable for being truthful in the contracts, and they're not. They don't tell you anything. They just tell you to sign the dotted line. Right? I know it's a lot, and this campus here, guys, is it's going to change a lot, right? You guys were wondering about this form. You have to become an individual first, but you can be an individual and not pay taxes in your job, right? And I know it sounds crazy. You're like, well, if I get rid of my driver's license, what am I going to do? Okay, let me show you what a driver's license actually is. You guys are probably gonna be like, well, if I don't have a driver's license, well, I can't drive. No. What is a commercial driver's license, right? A commercial driver's license means issued by state individual authorizing the individual to operate a class of commercial motor vehicles. Okay. What is a commercial motor vehicle? Okay. Commercial motor vehicle is used in commerce to transport passengers or property that has a gross weight rating or gross vehicle weight of 26,000 pounds, whichever is greater or lesser, right? So it is designed to transport at least 16 passengers, including the driver, right? Are any of you guys transporting 16 passengers?
You stupid.
Huh?
No, no,
No.
right?
That
No.
that's what I'm saying.
It's just
I'm
me
just
in the
gonna
car.
I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down, right? What is a motor vehicle? Motor vehicle is a machine, a tractor, trailer, semi-trailer, propelled to drawn by mechanical power and used on public roads, public streets, roads, highways, and do not include a vehicle, machine, tractor, trailer, or semi-trailer operated on a rail line or custom harvesting farm machinery. Do you guys operate any machines, tractors, trailers, semi-trailers? Do you guys operate any of those?
No,
No.
So what do you
no.
need a driver's license for?
I got a Chrysler 200. I got nothing bigger than that.
That's what I'm saying. But does that make sense? It's right here in the definition.
This is just make me mad because I feel like all of this is just really extra.
It is. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, we're opting into their policies, their laws, their rules. That's why they always ask you, can I see your ID? You have an ID.
So I got a question. Like,
Mhm.
okay, so say somebody was driving down the street and they're speeding and they go to jail, whatever. I don't know the story. Say later on they join A&E and they're like, "Wow, that was like really messed up. I got arrested for this." Is there any way for them to be like, "Oh, I was arrested. I don't know the right word if it would be fraudulent, but like incorrectly." Like, cause say or say someone, I don't know, better example is say someone's driving with a suspended license or
Mhm.
something like that, and then they get in trouble, and then they learn this information. Is there anything that they can do about that? I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm kind of reaching here.
they can.
Okay. That
Yeah.
hasn't happened to me, but I'm thinking about like,
The,
oh, what
the
if
only
so
the real problem here is really like, did you show up to court? And if you did, typically once you show up to court, you're already in admittance. You've already admitted in some way that you're guilty. And then usually when you have court cases, typically what happens is, if someone the actual law, right, outside of the corporation law states that if you do end up in jail, you have to have had harmed someone and it needs to be an actual accuser. The accuser can't be the police. It has to be a human being saying this person hurt me or put me in danger because they were speeding. Like you have to have an actual accuser. If there's no accuser present, right, you have the right to face your accuser. Who
okay.
is my
Cause,
accuser?
cause didn't you say like not to go to court like for any tickets as well? Like, cause like you're
Yeah,
really
once
setting
you opt
yourself
out of
up.
their system, yes.
Okay.
Once you opt out of the system, there's a ways for you to fill out those because they're asking that company to go to court. You're not the company. You want to show up for the company and take the hit for the company, more than welcome to,
No.
right? But that's just how it works. But you have to opt out of their system, right?
And by the way, I unlocked the Facebook ads and stuff, but there's nothing on there.
Yeah, that one I'm supposed to finish building it. A lot of people are not ready for Facebook ads right now.
I mean, I feel
Uh,
like I am. I'm just playing.
A lot of people are not ready for Facebook ads. You're gonna need business funding for Facebook ads.
I gotta sit down this weekend. I know you said last night it's so easy to do the LLC. I'm just trying to like, I'm there. I'm wondering if I should just like jump into it
Mhm.
or I
The
know.
LLC it's one thing. It's 15 minutes. You bite the bullet, you just pay the state fee, right? If you're in Massachusetts, get a New Hampshire business. It's $100 and you'll
Okay.
get it within 30 days. Now you're one step closer to getting money because you have an LLC, you know? But when what I always recommend, I'm like, the longer you wait, the longer everything takes, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
for everyone that's here and they're applying things with speed, they're gonna see the results and with at the same rate. It's gonna happen just as fast. It's just that it needs to come down to just applying it, right? Like the same way where we're doing all of this, we have to apply it. And this is where I said, you guys should just schedule a call with me. Even if you have to do 2 calls with me, guys, that's what I'm here for. But let's start applying it. Let's start making it happen because you guys are going to start seeing results, results, results. And that's what I want for all of you guys, especially when the communities where it's at, it's going to keep growing. And my time with everyone is going to be less,
All right. Yeah.
you know? So I'm going to be giving out more energy to more people. And I want to make sure all of you guys here understand this, that the material makes sense and that, as we apply it, it's not difficult, right? Because my goal is set to simplify it. But, to answer your question, right? Like you guys were wondering about taxes. Yeah, you have to back out of the system. You have to opt out. You got to basically reinstate yourself and say, like, this is me. I'm the birth certificate on here. I was actually born as a human being, a natural person. And then you get your passport. And this passport is just enough to have an ID. You can apply for anything you want. You can get a social with it. You can get a bank account. You can get a bank account with it. You can do travel with it. It's good for everything. This card is good for everything. Right? And you guys are probably wondering, like, okay, well, what do I do when I run into these issues? Right? I put it right here. Like, if you guys have any issues, right, state citizen tips on what to do, I list them here, right? Proof of travel. I list everything here. Avoiding traffic ticket. In most states, your status should prevent traffic tickets. If issued, do not go to court. Sign the ticket without prejudice. Interacting with law enforcement. Obviously, you want to comply with the police requests and show your passport, but most officers may not issue you a ticket if they understand your status. So you have to be able to articulate that stuff to them. Say, I don't operate under your laws. I don't have that ID. I'm a natural person. Typically, you want to ask them questions. And I have a ton of video, guys, that I'm going to be adding to the campus of people interacting with these officers under this title, state citizen. So you guys can watch and actually observe how they handle those interactions and literally how they were able to get away with it. The best example I can give you that this guy did was he asked the officer, he says, well, am I being arrested? Am I under arrest? And he says, well, yeah, you're under arrest. And he's like, okay, well, then shouldn't you be reading me my Miranda rights? He's like, oh, well, no. It's like, but I'm under arrest, right? And you should be reading me my Miranda rights. So the Miranda rights state that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you do and say will be held against you in the court of law. So once he finished reading the Miranda rights, he's like, you want my ID, right? But anything I say and do will be held against me. So why would I give you my ID? And the cop froze because he's right. Once he read the Miranda rights, he sworn into it. It was done.
That's also crazy.
It's the truth. I mean, that's what the Miranda rights say. It's anything you say or do will be held against you in the court of law. And he was like, well, you're asking me for my ID. I don't want it to be held against me.
Wow.
And I'm choosing not to say anything going forward. You've just read me my rights. It is my right. You have the right to remain silent. It's your
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You don't have to say anything.
right. So he shut him up with the Miranda rights, but simply asking questions. He didn't argue with him. He wasn't being like overzealous or anything. He just simply broke it down. But it's like those type of examples that, like I said, as I keep building the campus out, I'm going to be adding those because it'll be good visuals for you to see like how people are interacting under that status. Because remember, it's a different way of life. You're no longer dealing with the public. You're technically free, but the people that are trying to enforce anything otherwise are not free. They're just trying to do their job as policyholders. And that's it.
This is not
Still,
about litigation.
once you obtain the passport, you should be free from paying income taxes, needing licenses, permits, and registering vehicles. Crazy. What were we saying, Selena?
Sorry. It wasn't about the Miranda rights or nothing like that. But like when I make relationships with the banks, because I was gonna start doing that, um, like I can deposit 250 each month because I was like reading about that as well, and like I just because it says like bank deposits, like under the bank deposits, it says like I can deposit 250 each month, or I can do the other way. But I thought that way would have been easier for me.
Which way?
Like it said like different ways. Like I can deposit like 250 each month, or I can like do the
Yeah,
other way where
for just like a few months, you want to show a little bit of, or you can even do your direct deposit from your work into your business bank account for a few months, and then to show this is my new bank account. You only need 3 months of statements.
okay, because I would do it that way, but I really need to like do other things with my money that I make at my job. So it's like,
You could still use that. They want to see income. So use your 9 to 5 income into your business bank account. It's okay.
okay.
Like if I was still working at Target, I would just do direct deposit to that business bank account and say this has been my income.
Oh, so you're just saying I could just like you deposit it, but I don't have to, but I can still use what I use, basically.
100%.
Oh, okay.
100%. They want to see money in the bank. That's it. Now that's pretty much it, guys. So I'll go ahead and I'll release the campus so you guys can have it. I'm gonna also upload this video. But did any of you have any questions before we ended this call?
Can you show me again where I go to set up a call with you? Because
Yeah,
I
so if
have,
you go right to the community, right here is the
okay.
one-on-one consultation.
Because it doesn't show that when I use it on the website, but I'll download the app. Um,
Really?
yeah, it's weird.
I've never knew it was there was a thing where you could schedule a call with you.
Yeah.
That's weird. Well, what I'll do is I'll copy the link and I'll post it into the comments
Okay. Okay.
so you guys can have that link. Does that make sense?
Fabulous. Yes,
Cool.
sir.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys. I want you guys to have a blessed night and look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow's call.
You too. Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Happy
thank you.
to.
It's nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, when you're
Yeah.
ready to endorse bills, guys, like we can do it together if you want.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
You could do it together. We could set up a call. We'll do Zoom. We'll fill it out, with you. I'll show you what to do. Make sure you got all the papers done. And then anything else that we need to execute, let's take advantage and set up the call for, because we'll be able to get those things done sooner.
I had an idea. I just written my letter. Maybe I can show you guys an example of my letter, and then you could just do it on the call. Well, I'm not gonna say tomorrow, but like, yeah, I had did my letter, but I wanted you to check over it. But I thought it would have been cool if they seen it. Like, you helped me look over it.
Yeah.
About it.